and welcome to another thrilling week of bad decisions here at Fantasy Football Dojo.
Honestly, can we change the name of the show to Bad Decisions?
Yeah, it really should. We're here at the Ninja Legion Studios on another wonderful Sunday morning without Chick-fil-A because, let's face it, they're never open on Sundays.
It's Sunday.
Whenever you want it the most.
Whenever you want it the most, they're not open.
Guess you're stuck with Wendy's.
So how about that Torrey Smith last week?
I mean, let's put it this way. They throw for 1,000,000 yards. They throw for a square light year, and he gets 2 touchdowns, but 45 yards.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it looked horrible.
But still, we were like,
quarter,
he's so not startable.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do?
So.
They can't stink all the time.
We got.
How about that quick beating?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I'm not gonna lie, it was bad.
For those keeping track at home, 1, 2.
You ain't gonna beat me. No, you're not. You're not taking out. You're not taking out all the hosts. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's
he's
not
going.
Honestly,
he's
that
going
would
for the host sweep.
That would be something that's the only 3 wins he gets all year.
It was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
my team's a mess. So.
Currently in our league, I have the highest points, but I'm in second at 5-1. Maurice, who drafted first and has never drafted, remind you, he's 6-0, but a solid
Who's
set of
also
points
made
behind.
17 free agency moves.
Yes, he's been moving and shaking.
Yeah.
And then you're third
I'm third.
behind
4
me,
and 2.
4-2, and then there's.
But I'm second to Mike in points.
Yeah, there's a traffic jam at a couple guys at 3
I'm
and
sitting
3.
in 5th with 3 and 3.
Yeah. And then we got some 2s and 4s to round it out. But our league's very generous. 6 of the 10 make the playoffs, so we'll see what happens.
It doesn't help that I'm sitting with AJ Green and Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, no.
And
Doesn't help just
Rashad
sitting on
Jennings.
Baltic with crap.
So, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? How am I supposed to combat that? Well, I'll tell you how. Because I got Jarrett McKinnon, that's why.
That's basically like having Park Place and Boardwalk and then putting hotels on them and then going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Is
pretty
basically what your
Yeah,
team
pretty
is
much.
like
Can you
right
just
now.
please land on it?
Yeah, team's a little top-heavy, folks. What can I say? But can we pour one out for the Baltimore Orioles just before we get into the football?
I know it's only Diet Coke, but
Yeah.
It drained my soul. I went to the game 1 of the CS and then watched the other 3, and it was the saddest thing I've ever been a part of. Like, I almost went to counseling.
actually, Mike and I watched, what was it, the game on, was it Saturday?
Sunday. Or Saturday,
It was
I mean.
Saturday.
Yeah,
last
because, they were off
Saturday,
Sunday. Game
we had all
2.
planned on going out and doing something afterwards and having a good old time coming
was just
actually
so
here to our
depressing.
fearless leader's house and partying. And by the time it was over, Mike's like, I'm going to go upstairs and take a bath and cry.
We scared the dog. Well, you scared my dog by throwing your hat on the ground.
Oh, I scared the crap out of Peach a few times.
Peach
Oh,
just
it's
retreated. So, yeah, it was heartbreaking, but, go Giants.
We,
That's all I can say.
Honestly, no, I'm going to say go Royals because I want to say that we lost to the World Series champs and not to some scrub team that got wiped out in the World Series.
Yeah.
Okay. Our great city went from total jubilation to just total depression within 1 week. It was the saddest thing ever. But anyway, let's move on. We've got a lot of football here. Let's start off with the first game: Tennessee at Washington. Kirk,
You always look at me when this
Washington
is your crew.
expert.
Washington expert is our Washington correspondent.
Well, I was actually talking to Mike before we got started. One of the big things is, and it's not going to happen this week, but be prepared to pick up, I mean, if you so want to, put RG3 back on your bench. Earlier in the year, they said that Cousins...
Be prepared to bench this guy some more.
Put him back into cold storage because you're never going to start him ever.
God only knows what you're going to do with him, but they said that, or get ready to get rid of Kirk Cousins if you have him as a backup, because they said when RG3 is healthy, he will be the starter again, which I think is crap.
Because they just don't learn.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, it's because they say Cousins isn't winning. It's because the defense is giving up 35 points a game. So, that's first of all, don't play their defense, even though it is Tennessee. They're still going to suck.
It'll be one of those scenarios that it seems like a no-brainer, just like last week with Oakland and San Diego,
Yeah.
where you're like, oh, that defense should put up some points, the other team can't score, and then it's going to be a barn burner. So,
Yeah.
Is Touchdown Jesus still playing for Tennessee? Do we know?
Oh, Clipboard Jesus, Charlie Whitehurst. I think Locker might play. I don't think they even know until
Has
game
he
time.
sneezed or farted yet this morning?
I
Because that
don't
might
think
put him
so.
out.
It
I
might.
think they're going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to be a game time decision.
Alright.
I'm frantically looking for the inactives, but I don't think
He
they're
might
up yet.
use the rough bristled toothbrush and hurt his gums
Yeah,
or
we don't wanna do
something,
that.
and then he
It's
might
bad
be
news.
out.
Bad news bears.
So yeah, I mean, in that game, obviously I like a lot of the Redskins.
Honestly, I really don't.
What? Really?
Like the tight end situation's a mess. I mean,
Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed.
Yeah, Jordan Reed is back with a vengeance.
I know he's back with a vengeance, but I guarantee you this week he'll probably have 4 targets, 2 catches for 15 yards. It's just that's how it seems to go every time you play a Redskins tight end.
Yeah.
We said to stay away from Niles.
I mean,
Paul.
I'll
He
let
goes
I'll
off
let
the
you know
chart.
next week.
I know.
Can those catches go to Pierre Garçon? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Is that
Well,
okay?
That's the only reason I want Griffin to come back and play is because he actually targets Pierre Garçon. For some reason, just Cousins doesn't look his way.
He just loves Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah,
What
I
can you say?
can't blame him. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy's just is always open.
It's very fast.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson just abused Seattle. He's abusing everyone right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
there's
had a great game last week too.
who's going to be on him this week? Like what? Alteron Werner or like?
Werner's. I forget who Tennessee has. They don't have Werner anymore.
Oh,
Tennessee's pass
That's right, he
defense
got
is not
traded.
good.
it's just not.
Tennessee's defense as a whole is not good. Washington's offensive players should be okay today.
Yeah.
I know we've got Garçon as our flex in the league that we share,
Mm-hmm.
man. I
I'm
feel
actually
okay
benching
about that.
Garçon this week. Well, I have a choice. Do I flex Garçon? Do I flex Alfred Morris?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's the big dilemma I'm having because
PPR?
Garçon. Yeah, it's our league actually. It's do I bank on Garçon getting more looks and actually having a big game, or do I go with the touchdown dependent Morris? Because right now, if he doesn't get touchdowns, he's putting up mediocre games at best. Because Roy Halou he's the passing down back. He's a better blocker and he's a much better receiver. So it's
In PPR, I think I don't know.
and I know
I would lean towards Garçon, but
I think I am, but I also have another option of I think I could even throw in Cecil Shorts.
at this point you just can't. We haven't even gotten to Jacksonville game
Yeah.
yet, but you just can't play any of those guys on a regular basis.
I know I'm in a.
I
series-
tried. I was big on some of them coming out of the preseason, thinking that they're just going to be from behind and scoring points, like in garbage time, and they just don't even do that at this
And
point.
Joe Hayden's healthier than he has been recently too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Shorts is a decent flex play, but I'd have to play either guy from Washington over Shorts. As far as Tennessee's offense goes, do we want to have a discussion about Bishop Sankey at this point?
I mean, it seems as though he's
Apparently, their coaching staff isn't as dumb as we thought
Right.
they were, because he's not that great. Apparently,
No.
at some point he might break out, but I don't understand why they made this guy the first running back in the draft. I don't get it. Although their offensive line's been a little bit hampered, and their offense as a whole hasn't been great, but I'm never going to talk poorly about Kendall Wright again, I guess, because every time I do, he scores 2 touchdowns on like 3 catches. But
if he has
you
another
know.
game like that, I'm going to try to trade him because I can't
It's totally
do that.
unpredictable. And that brings a point that I was thinking about this morning. You'll notice, folks, that we don't do rankings. A lot of fantasy shows do rankings, and that's how we make decisions on starting players.
That's just wasted time because it never works
don't-
out.
Here's the thing: if you're debating between, the number 10 receiver and the number 16 receiver, figuring out who's better, who cares? You're going to start at least 2 receivers anyway, so they're both starters. All we're really looking at here is, are they startable? And it really depends on who you have. So if you don't hear us reference, oh, this is my number 5 running back this week or whatever, it's just because we just don't bother with that, because you're really only worried about who's going to be in your lineup and who's not. So everything's really contextual when it comes to that. But that's, Garçon's a good example of that. Is Garçon a 3 receiver? Is he a 2 receiver? Who knows? It depends on who's on bye and who you've got. I think he's going to have a pretty decent game, but we spent way too much time on this game.
Yeah, this game's going to be doo-doo. Let's move on.
I do say actually, no, I'll say Cousins has a good game as well. I mean, he'll have
he'll
a pretty
yeah,
good game.
and I agree with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
I think
Probably
if you've got
275,
Cousins,
2 TDs, and maybe a pick.
I think if you're trying to get some value out of Cousins, this is a week to do it. Next up is the Seahawks and Rams.
Interesting
St. Louis.
game.
Seattle at St. Louis.
Yeah, since they're in St. Louis, this could be a game.
No Percy
Like,
Harvin.
Well, Percy. Here's the thing, and people. let's touch on this
Yeah,
real
let's
quick.
talk about the Percy
All right,
Harvin trade.
so Percy Harvin, people are ripping on him like after he got traded. Oh, this and that. He only had 1 touchdown, and that wasn't even a touchdown. He was out of bounds. Well, I watched a game where he had 3 legitimate touchdowns, and they were all called back by holding penalties at the line. So he's got talent. People
So he
are
was in the
idiots
Reds-
if they
he was in
keep
the
saying,
Washington game.
yeah, if he's gonna get more, that's the thing for fantasy purposes. Does he get more looks at the Jets?
he probably does, but here's the thing. I don't know that trade's all that relevant, because Percy Harvin's always been the Cadillac with the broken engine. I don't understand how anybody's all that excited about Percy. Every year at draft time, it's, oh, is Percy Harvin a number 1 receiver, number 2? He's never been anything.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like, the best
No,
year
he's
he's
been
ever
hurt.
had.
Yeah.
Well, he's never had any value. Right? He's never had any real value. I mean, Seattle's no dummies. They've got the guy for 10 whole games in his contract to get the touchdown in the Super Bowl that they didn't even really need. They let him go. He's very hard to fit into an offense. He's not a pure receiver. He doesn't get good separation. He's a gadget player. You're really hoping he busts long touchdowns, and that's his only fantasy value.
We saw last week, Thursday night. If you watch the Jets-Patriots game,
I'm sorry.
They're bad. They're bad at gadget plays, and they try them. They fumble the snaps.
Percy Harvin's the perfect Jets receiver because it's all sizzle and no steak.
Yeah.
It's all just look how fast I can run, and I'm elusive and all that. Their coaching staff, they're not going to be able to scheme their way out of a paper bag.
Shout out to the Jets real quick. First team in NFL history to have over 200 yards rushing and I believe win the time of possession battle and lose the game.
Yeah, because they're
First time in
incompetent.
the history of the NFL.
If there's one thing I don't trust the faulty Jets coaching staff to do, it's to figure out a way to get a guy the ball.
Yeah.
With Geno Smith at quarterback and their offensive line is kind of a mess, I don't think Harvin's relevant in any way. If you want to keep him on your team because he's fancy, go ahead. If you got to play him as a flex, that's fine. The Jets' offense stinks. It makes Eric Decker better because the defense is going to be looking at Harvin going, oh, wait, where's that jet sweep? Where's that freaking triple reverse we got to worry about?
And then tying it back to the Seattle game, this does make some of these.
We are on the Seattle.
This does make some of those weirdos like Lockett actually have a little higher value.
I think
because
Javon Curse takes a bit of a jump.
Jermaine Curse.
What did I say?
Javon.
Oh, Javon Curse isn't playing.
He's
receiver,
strong.
So Jermaine Curse is what I meant.
Let's
Sorry.
bring him back.
And Doug Baldwin. Everybody loves a little Doug Baldwin in their
doesn't?
lives. I mean, yeah. It remains to be seen which receiver will benefit from it, but I agree with you. One of those receivers will emerge and get some targets. But again, it wasn't like Harvin was getting the ball 15 times a game, so it really doesn't
I just
matter
wanted
as
to give
much
a
as
shout out
everybody
to
thinks it
Harvin.
does.
Everyone's ripping on him. He had touchdowns. He probably should have had 4 or 5 touchdowns at this point this year, and they keep getting called back.
No, the thing
Apparently, they traded him because he was a malcontent.
Well, that too.
I mean,
he had problems at Florida.
Yeah.
He had problems in Minnesota, and he's already been.
He
publicly
burns
stated-
bridges. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's already been, complaining.
So
about
he'll be
Russell.
fine in New York.
Well, he's also, and the big thing is he was complaining about Russell Wilson. You don't complain about the franchise
No.
quarterback.
Yeah,
You
it's not a good
can't.
idea.
Who has nothing? You can't complain about that guy anyway.
I'm sorry.
He's-
If Wes Welker comes out and starts to bitch about Peyton Manning, guess what?
You're
never
gone.
going to see the ball again.
yeah, you're going Welker.
Here's my favorite part about the Harvin story. That they tried to trade him to Denver for Julius Thomas. How hard did John Elway laugh when they got that phone call? He's like, wait, hold on a second. I've got a guy that's got like 14 catches and like 13 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Julius Thomas.
You want to trade me Percy Harvin for him?
Julius
Hold on
Thomas
a
has played
second.
like 18 games in his career. He's got 18
Yeah,
touchdowns.
he's ridiculous.
Or he started 18
He's
games.
one of the
he's
most
got 18.
talented
Oh,
tight
it's-
ends in the history
it's
of
unreal.
football in a short time, and I'm supposed to believe that they're going to trade Harvin for him. Anyway,
All right.
Seattle, St. Louis. Seattle happens to be my suicide pick of the week, which
Ooh.
is my suicide pick and is my reason for committing suicide, apparently, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to want to watch any of this game because I'm going to be scared to death that St. Louis is going to win
You-
because
you-
I don't want to take Seattle on the road in
Right.
a divisional game because that breaks 2 of my 3 rules of suicide pools. You never take a division game and you never take a good team on the road. But I don't have a choice at this point. I've used every other good team.
You're just
so.
hoping Austin Davis comes back to earth a little bit against a really good defense and,
I
turns
think
the ball
chances
over.
are that he will. I don't think it's a big gamble to think that A, the reigning Super Bowl champions are going to lose 2 in a row, and that B, Austin Davis is going to become Austin
Right.
Davis again.
And you hope they got a little
But-
morale morale boost because apparently, again, Harvin wasn't well received
Here's
there. So
hoping, man.
maybe they're just like, we got rid of that cancer.
I'm just trying to
So
make it happen, Just trying to make some
we'll,
magic.
we'll pray for you. And then on the St. Louis side, now you got Benny Cunningham and Trey Mason, right, coming in and stealing carries from Zach Stacy, who really wasn't putting up any points anyway. So that could be good for potential down the road, starting one of the other 2 guys if you really need a running back. But at this point, you can't start Zach Stacy, right?
There isn't a single St. Louis Ram I would start today.
Yeah, that's
under,
true.
Under any circumstances.
Oh, last week, I had a friend who was playing his girlfriend in fantasy,
Oh, but that went
fun.
well.
and he needed Brian Quick to have 10 points. And in PPR, I was like,
sorry
"Oh,
about
you're
that."
good. You're good with that. You'll be fine." He lost. So I was just like, uh-oh.
I can't endorse
Yeah,
any
I
of these
agree.
guys. St. Louis might be on the road and they're better at home, but it doesn't matter. They've got a superior team. And like you said, it's now a 3-man backfield.
Yeah.
And Stacy's probably the 2nd or 3rd guy on the list.
I actually have a conundrum based on that involves Seattle. I had the luxury of having Seattle's defense in many leagues, but I also ended up picking up Detroit's defense as well. I know I don't normally run 2 defenses, but Detroit's the best statistical defense in the league right now. But at this point today, I think I got to start Seattle.
You gotta start Seattle.
Even though it's on the road, I mean, so who
Is
cares?
Detroit
They're-
playing this week?
New Orleans off a bye.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
reason I was
No, I
concerned
would
with
definitely
that.
go with Seattle.
So
You
yeah,
want Seattle.
yeah.
Next up is Cleveland at Jacksonville.
Oh, I got a question.
Sure.
we
good,
got
good.
we got a fan question.
Let's make it happen.
So this is a tough one. We need three receivers.
Okay.
Kelvin Benjamin, Golden Tate, Emmanuel Sanders, or Antonio Brown. I mean, these
So we're
stacked.
picking who
but-
to dump, basically.
Yeah. Benjamin apparently is supposed to play. I
First
mean,
of all, good drafting.
it was a
Yeah.
Kelvin Benjamin was a mild concussion because now there's different, I guess,
Yeah.
categories of them.
Yeah.
You can play mildly
I
concussed.
just read that he's gonna play.
Yeah. So who are they playing against? Let's
Green
run
Bay.
down. So you got Kelvin Benjamin against Green Bay. You got Golden Tate against New Orleans.
Okay.
Emmanuel Sanders against
San Francisco.
San Francisco, and Antonio Brown against.
Against Houston. I hate
Houston.
to say it, but you got to bench Sanders.
Yeah, I mean he's consistent, and I'm assuming
good.
he's in a PPR format. But the other guys just have well,
They
Golden
just have
Tate's the
great
guy.
matchups.
Golden Tate's he's going to be your Golden Tate this week.
Benjamin's just a freak. We found that out, and he's healthy enough
And
to
Green
go out
Bay's
there.
got no DBs.
And, yeah, Green
They
Bay's
got a
a-
bunch of injuries in the defensive
Right.
backfield.
You do got to worry about, though, is to keep it in the back of your mind, Kelvin Benjamin. He gets tagged once. He could be out for 6
Yeah.
weeks.
Well, that's true.
You still just got to put your dudes
I'm
out there.
saying, I
that
know
are
you
the-
have to
yeah.
put him out there,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if you hang him out to dry one time, it could be the end of his
Yeah.
the end of the game. for
So
him.
we'd have to say for Cody that I mean that would
I
be his
agree with
decision
you, but
is
just it just sucks
Right.
that
His-
you have to play with the
his
play with
decision would
fire.
be if he's nervous about Benjamin getting tagged in the middle of the game and going out, then he starts Sanders instead of
Well, I
Benjamin.
think if Sanders
but
had a better matchup, it's a tougher call. But the Niners' defense is pretty solid.
it's been as advertised the past couple of games,
And
and
I
it's a
don't-
primetime game.
And since
I don't know if
Welker's
that really
been back,
matters. but
Sanders hasn't been as good as he was.
Right.
I mean, Sanders is still a good
He's
receiver,
still good,
but
yeah.
he's not the other three
He's just
guys.
you're so stacked at that point, Cody.
Yeah,
You,
it's a lot
you-
of receivers.
yeah, that's what I would go with. So yeah,
So
back
Cleveland
to
and Jacksonville. I mean, we talked about Jacksonville for a little bit. They can't run the ball. The Storm Johnson thing is a nice story.
You
but,
know what?
I mean-
The storm rolled through last week. He got a touchdown. Not much else, but he got his first career touchdown.
I think the injury report just hit. I'm starting to get updates.
Oh, good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we'll update everyone on the injuries as soon as
Well,
we
the
get
two
the
that
full
had just
reports.
popped up from here, AJ Green and Megatron, are done, which we
Yeah,
all
we-
figured. So
If you have
moving
those
on.
players, which all of us I think own at least one of them in one of our leagues, it's sad, but you kind of knew that was coming in. You should be prepared. Hopefully you got Sanu if you had AJ Green because he's obviously putting up numbers we thought he could.
Sanu,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw me a culpa out there about Sanu. I didn't think Sanu was gonna be that great, but apparently
I was
he's
right
just-
from
Oh,
week
he's
one. I
just-
was talking about
he's
Sanu.
just
draft
racking up
day.
the targets,
Yeah.
From
man.
draft day, Mike would not shut up
Good
about
call.
Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah, he's kind of a freak, honestly. Like he's not as much of a freak as AJ Green, but he's still good. He's better than people thought.
Jimmy Graham will play, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know how much he'll play, but he'll play, which is enough to start him.
Who is the tight end that they were throwing to, even when Graham was still in the game? Now that they're
Josh Hill.
that's yeah. I mean, I don't think he's really on the radar, but it sucks that now there is someone getting catches from. All right, so anyway, back to Cleveland, Jacksonville. We
really
keep
hard to
getting
talk about this
distracted
game.
because we don't even want to talk. But at this point, let's throw this out there. Brian Hoyer is a week in, week out starter if you didn't get a really top tier quarterback at
You
this
could
point.
stream him for a week or
You
two.
could stream him. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you were the person that waited on quarterback and got screwed, honestly,
I'm getting my wish.
I like Tony Romo, and the point is their team's winning now, so he doesn't have to throw as much, and that's what's killed his value as being that
Well,
like
that-
I'm gonna wait on a quarterback guy. So like I feel like Hoyer is almost what Tony Romo used to be, where you could draft him late,
Yeah.
and now he's just slinging it.
They don't throw it around that much, though. I mean, they're a run-first team, especially with Tate back.
He still is getting touchdowns.
I like
that's
him
the
in this
point.
game.
Yeah,
Because Jacksonville's not really that
well,
good.
Right.
the big thing
But-
is Jordan Cameron this week.
yeah.
Jacksonville is the worst team at covering tight
Yeah.
ends. Now, granted, a lot of the last few weeks it hasn't been to one single tight end, so the numbers haven't looked great.
The nice thing about the Browns is they got Barnage and him, so they don't really. I think they have
Yeah,
two
their
tight
second
ends.
tight end is not a
So
big pass catcher.
he's one of the scenarios where he doesn't have much competition out there for pass catching tight end on
the
the
thing is,
team.
and
so-
they have run some 3 tight end sets, but usually it's Jordan Cameron goes out and the other 2 stay in and block.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's Jordan gets the looks at the tight end spot.
He looked good last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good
Bonnie
start.
looks healthy again. He's got Gronk syndrome. He can't stay healthy, but he looks good so far. I'd play him. He's
Is
a
it-
guaranteed start for
Is
me.
this a scenario you were talking about, Joe Hayden, where is Cleveland's defense startable? I mean, anybody against Jacksonville, I guess, is.
Just because everybody against Jacksonville
Yeah.
is, yeah. I mean, it's not a great play because I don't think
but-
there's going to be
Thing is,
a
Cleveland's
ton going on.
Cleveland's D hasn't been that bad. I mean, they shut down Le'Veon Bell
they've been
and
good.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
I mean, they put a whooping on Pittsburgh.
So, and then we touched on this last week, and no one's really emerged yet. It's just that round robin of athletic receivers that they have that no one's really standing out, and you can't really start any of
Yeah,
them.
you can't start any of them.
But Ben Tate's a start for sure.
Oh, Ben
Yeah.
Tate's done great. That's another guy that I was so low on that really surprised me. And they had Terrence West was an active scratch last week.
Really.
Apparently, he's out of the rotation. Isaiah Crowell is their backup, I guess.
He's a little more flexible.
He had a touchdown
He's a pass
last
catching
year,
back,
or last week, I should say. He had a touchdown last week, so a guy to keep on the radar in case Tate gets hurt again.
And then for Jacksonville, we do this every week, and we hate to do it, but until someone proves us wrong, I mean, Cecil Shorts last week I think did have 100 yards.
Yeah,
but again, you can't. Maybe at a flex if you have one of the receivers that's hurt and you're bumping some of your second tier receivers into the starting spot.
Yeah,
and you might need someone, but chances are Shorts is the most household name on that team as far as like a player from past experience. He's probably rostered in 12 team leagues on someone's team.
Probably.
So, but if you need him, that would be probably the only guy I would even consider starting on Jacksonville.
I picked him up. Hopefully, maybe he stays healthy for a couple weeks, starts to put up numbers in a small late season trade. That's all I really have him for.
Yeah.
If you're desperate for a tight end, Clay Harbor's been getting more
That's true.
run.
Clay Harbor has had some pretty good games. Don't confuse him with the other Clay tight end, Charles Clay.
Charles Clay.
So first name, last name switches. Don't get confused
But,
there.
I had Clay Harbor as the guy I was going to play instead of Jimmy Graham if Graham didn't play. But he's gotten the ball thrown his way a couple of times, and he can make some plays. He's a pretty athletic guy. But that's going to require you to be pretty desperate. We've got a lot of these tight ends that have been hurt or back now, like Cameron and these guys. So,
all right, let's dump this game. Let's go
right,
next.
Next up, let's go for the hometown team.
Yay.
Atlanta at Baltimore. We've all got our Ravens stuff on, but hold. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you were gonna fart.
So did
Oh
I.
my God. It's Matt Ryan's music.
Oh.
Oh God. By God. That's right. I'm a sports bigamist. I root for both teams.
Yeah. You're not gonna. Well, I mean, you'll be happy and sad today.
I'm gonna find out whether I'm an optimist or a pessimist today. Because it's gonna either be a glass half empty or glass half full game.
Well, the Falcons are ranked 31st out of 32nd in total defense.
Don't remind me.
They give up about 28 points a game.
They're horrible.
The Ravens just laid a solid ass whooping last week. Yeah. Paul is thrilled. Yeah,
let's pause.
That number 2 draft pick is paying
Let's
off.
pause for a minute. Because Joe Flacco ran roughshod over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, and I can only thank my lucky stars that I wasn't playing Paul last week, even though I lost. If I had to hear about that, it would have been just tragic. My God. I'm sitting there. I didn't even get home yet from this podcast before Flacco had like 4 touchdowns. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on?
we had a
This is
Kamar
insane.
Aiken sighting.
I don't even know who Kamar Aiken is.
Second-year receiver out of South Florida.
Thanks. Way to go, Mo Kiper. I appreciate that.
But yeah, we saw some young talent on the Ravens get some looks. Campanaro had a really nice catch. That guy could be good in the future. But for right now,
Juszczyk had a few catches.
Torrey Smith woke up against a putrid defense, and that's good to see for him. He needed some confidence.
I tell you what, that first one that he caught, that sucker was a bullet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
it was.
That was zip to him, and he actually looked like he had the hands he did in his rookie year.
So yeah, we were talking about it when we opened the show, or I think maybe right before the show. You know, he didn't have Torrey Smith didn't have a ton of yards, around 45 to 50 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns, and he looks like he's back in the mix a little bit. I mean, again, the Ravens are playing another bad defense, and now this time at home.
Just start your Ravens.
You start your Ravens, yeah, and
I mean,
we've seen now that Forsett is the go-to guy. If you have Forsett,
he's the number 4 running back in the league.
He's putting up points, both in real life and in fantasy. I mean, you know, you definitely roll with Forsett. Taliaferro is the odd man out at this point. He showed a couple of flashes, and he'll get a 1 or 2 runs a game.
He's going to be the garbage time guy now, for now.
And then Pierce, they still try to mix him in, but it doesn't matter. Forsett's the guy, and he's looked good enough to start in fantasy for sure. On the other side of the ball. Obviously, Julio Jones.
Before you move on too far, definitely start Steve Smith.
Yeah.
You have
easily.
to.
Yeah.
But do you still start Torrey Smith? He's got 1 good game.
I mean, hopefully he's your flex guy, and sure, I think so. Against this defense, you're starting him because he should find holes.
Atlanta's defense is awful.
Yeah,
we know this.
Their defensive backs are okay, but they have no pass rush. So Flacco's going to stand there and pick the defense apart.
And the O-line's been that hodgepodge of an O-line for Baltimore is playing.
They're playing fine. So, yeah, I mean, I'd play Torrey Smith.
He hasn't been sacked in 4 games this year. He hasn't been touched.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't even get hit last week, let alone sacked. So they've been playing extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, if we switch over to the Falcons side, you know what stinks is we joked about Antone Smith all season. He keeps putting up touchdowns, And now he's rostered in a lot of my leagues. Like I tried to go
Yeah.
grab him, and I'm like, great. Now he's actually
For a guy that gets like 5 touches a week, for
He
some
makes 'em
ungodly
count.
reason, he makes them count.
Um,
It would not surprise me at all if Anton Smith is their starting running back within like a week or two.
apparently he's pretty
'Cause
talented.
Steven Jackson looks like he's running through quicksand, and for some reason they don't think Devontae Freeman's ready.
No,
I don't know
I don't
why.
know.
I have no insight on that, but
But yeah, Julio Jones is a go. Roddy White was strangely absent last week, but he's healthy. I mean, I like the Ravens. The Ravens defense has been playing very well recently, and they're definitely a bend don't break defense still. Like they're probably not gonna give up red zone touchdowns, but they will give up a long ball here or there for sure, especially if someone gets tied up with Elam and just burns him. So
I do think
you know.
actually that Julio Jones this week is going to show Jimmy Smith's shortcomings.
yeah,
He's been playing
Smith's
well,
been playing really well, but
he hasn't really been slammed on a top tier receiver in the last.
yeah,
couple
Julio
weeks.
Jones is a straight up freak. So
I mean, granted, last week he was on Vincent Jackson for the most part, but even still, that's not a
Jackson's a great receiver, but he's not as good as
He's a
Julio
different
Jones.
kind of receiver.
Yeah.
yeah. No, he's a big bodied receiver. He's not going to burn you with his feet. Julio Jones can get around him and still probably go up and beat him for the ball too.
Smith's a top corner, but the guys he has trouble with are burners. And Jones is both. He's a big guy.
He's
that can
big
run
and
like
fast.
crazy.
So we're thinking Matt Ryan is probably a good start.
I wouldn't start.
You don't like starting Matt
He's
Ryan?
on the road,
He's
open
on the
air.
road.
Oh, that's right. We've
On
talked
the
about
road,
this.
open
I
air,
forgot.
national
He's on the
grass.
road, open air,
It's
and
supposed to be
he's
windy
gonna
today.
have Terrell Suggs in his shorts all day long. Their offensive line's a disaster. Julio Jones is the only Falcon that I feel okay playing.
Yeah. Real quick, back to the Ravens. Owen Daniels. What are we feeling about Owen Daniels?
I have
I
Owen
have to
Daniels
ask
on the
because
team.
I have to start him because I had Pitta,
Yeah.
and he puts up in PPR like 7 to 10 points a week. But he had that 2 touchdown game to start off.
He's gonna
when-
have a couple games where he's gonna have a touchdown or two,
Yeah.
and this might be one of them.
Yeah.
But he's in your second tier of tight ends, but they're all just kind of a jumble. He's no better or worse than guys like Clay Harbor, the Larry Donnell, these other guys. I mean, they're all startable guys, but they're not going to be lighting the world on fire. But you'll get lucky with them a couple
Yeah.
weeks out of the year.
In one of my leagues, someone is potentially going to offer me Andre Williams. I have Andre Williams for Dwayne Allen if I wanted to do that because I have Owen Daniels, and I'm like, is that even that big of an upgrade?
Not really.
No.
I don't feel like it
it's not.
is. So I'm kind of holding off on that. But so anyway,
Here's your Dwayne Allen segue. Speaking of Dwayne Allen,
Yes.
we're going to go to Cincinnati at the Colts.
It should be a fun game to watch.
I think so.
I don't know what happened to Cincinnati's defense.
Yeah, it's not good.
I don't understand what happened.
I've seen a couple people start on the past few weeks and get negative points, and I'm
It's
like,
just
"Oop."
like I can't even stomach that. I don't understand what happened. They had a great defense. Now they don't stop anybody. But
And this is going to be the biggest test they're probably going to have.
yeah, Andrew Luck inside.
this could be a divisional round playoff game. I mean, in the AFC.
Oh sure, yeah, you could have it be wild card weekend
Yeah.
game. Actually, no, it probably wouldn't be. 'Cause
Just
they're probably
divisional.
both going to win their division.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So this is either divisional or AFC Championship game. Is basically a preview.
So here's my question: if you have Reggie Wayne,
yeah,
how do you feel about him at this point? Because I have him in one league and I benched him for Ruben Randall.
I have him where I could start him. I'm fortunate enough to have the choice between him or Steve Smith every week in flex,
Yeah.
and I start Steve Smith at this point. I mean, you have to,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it depends on your team's.
I don't think it's Reggie Wayne's fault.
No.
I just think it's the fact that they're just scattering throws everywhere.
Yeah.
And, Allen and Kobe Fleener and
T.Y. Hilton.
the running backs. And, well, Hilton's the number one guy.
That's
I mean,
my
that's
point.
that's pretty
Yeah.
pretty obvious at this point is that Hilton's the number one
He
guy.
had his coming out party for this season with 200
Man.
yards and
I rode that to a win last week. So
yeah, that was solid.
So, I mean, at the start of the season, I wouldn't have said this, but start all your guys against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It sounds weird to say, but I like.
It's also because it's the Colts, and
The
I don't
Colts
know
are a
many
very
defenses
effective
that are going to
offense.
slow him down.
I like by the way that Pep Hamilton, greatest name in football, came out and said that this offense is finally what he envisioned it to be. Guess what Pep Hamilton wanted it to be? A run-first offense. Pep, you're full of crap.
Yeah.
Okay, all you want to do is jam running backs down our throat the entire time. Andrew Luck said, "I don't care. I'm going to throw all over the place," and he did it. And now you're claiming that this is like what you wanted it to be. Really? Come on, man.
you know what? At this point,
Give
you
me a
got to listen.
break.
You got to listen to the neckbeard though.
Yeah, I mean he's quickly becoming the next Peyton Manning. You don't even need an offensive coordinator for the guy because he's just going to go out there and do whatever he needs to do.
He's on pace for like 8,000 yards. this season.
I actually happen to have it right in front of me. He's 13 yards short of 2K.
Yeah. He's
Already.
It's
for a
nuts.
team that wanted to run first. Sorry, I don't know why I felt it necessary to call out Pep Hamilton on our podcast, but I just thought it was a funny quote.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
Oh, it's finally coming together. Give me a break, Pep.
Yeah, you're not a run
It was
first team.
despite you. As far as Cincinnati goes, the Colts defense is weird.
It is weird.
They play well sometimes. They play terrible other times.
I like,
I don't
obviously,
think you can not start somebody you normally would.
you've got to start Bernard.
Like Bernard and
Sanu.
Sanu. I would not play around with Jeremy Hill this week.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I don't think this game's going to go in a way that would require them to use him a lot. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, and I don't think it's going to be one of these games where they need to jam the ball up the middle. They're going to have to keep up with Indianapolis. So I don't think Jeremy Hill's a great pick this week just because I don't think he's going to get the ball that much.
also, shout out to Cincinnati for pulling off a tie last week.
Yeah, 37-37 tie.
Donovan McNabb sitting at home going, I didn't know you could do that.
Donovan's like, they're still playing, right?
Donovan.
Yeah, Donovan. What a great guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's at that point. Start the Colts.
Start the Colts.
And then
start the Bengals.
Start the big name Bengals, though. That's the thing. Like, you know.
This sets up great, by the way, for our weekly 14-10 matchup that everybody thinks is going to have 800 total yards between the two teams.
Right.
So I can't wait for that to happen. All right. Next up, Minnesota at Buffalo.
Ew.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. I usually have a pretty strong opinion one way or the other. Minnesota's not very good. Buffalo's not very good. It's in Buffalo.
Buffalo's defense is playing well.
Yeah, no, I like Buffalo's defense quite a bit as a streaming defense this week. If you're not already using him.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
By the way,
Off.
time out here. Last week, I was convinced to start Bridgewater over Romo in my 2-quarterback league.
Yeah, it didn't go so well.
Yeah.
In that league, they penalize you for being sacked. He got sacked like
Really?
8 times. I had negative 3.5 points out of Bridgewater.
They penalize you for getting sacked?
Yeah, 1 point per sack.
That's not even the quarterback's
Negative 1
fault.
point.
That's awful.
It's awful. And
That's
Wow.
terrible.
I also in that league, I am 1 and 6 now.
Oh, so the decision didn't kill you.
I mean, I'd like to get a win every once in a while.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
But no, that was pathetic. So
So the moral of the story is we don't really trust Teddy Bridgewater at this point.
Yeah.
That's sort of the lesson to learn with rookie quarterbacks. You know, you got Derek Carr fumbles around for 5 weeks and then comes up big last week. Bridgewater looks great against Atlanta because everybody does, and he throws 3 picks last week. If you got a rookie quarterback out there, it affects everybody. Cordero Patterson stunk before now, but now he really stinks. He's
Yeah.
got a rookie quarterback out there. Jerick McKinnon, previously mentioned Jerick McKinnon, is the one hot name out there.
He's the hot pickup this week.
But that is a trap.
yeah.
Flash to Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. Don't start Jarrett McKinnon this week. Next week,
Which
maybe.
Admiral Akbar, a.k.a. Aaron Rodgers, according to your friend.
Or Aaron Rodgers, yes. according to Jimmy, yes. Jarrett McKinnon's a very interesting player. I would definitely pick him up. I would put him on your bench and wait till next week. Buffalo's run defense is great.
Yeah.
And they're playing in Buffalo, and I don't think Bridgewater is going to inspire any big outputs offensively.
I like
so
Samuel Watkins this week.
I do as well. I think Sammy Watkins has a big game this week because I don't think anybody in Minnesota can cover him, and I think that Kyle Orton's just going to jam the ball out of him the entire game.
Shout outs to the guy I mention almost every week for no reason. He's becoming my new Nate Burleson, Robert Woods.
Yeah,
He
got
caught a touchdown last week.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
He benefits from the the attention that's given to
The
Sammy Watkins.
runoff.
But again, not startable. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
That was good.
Keep bringing up
One
his
thing I
name.
do want to bring up, being the, I guess, into the role of weird number guy, Adrian Peterson has been dropped in 50% of all leagues on Yahoo.
Wow.
And that's in the last 4 days.
Yeah.
I dropped him this week.
I don't blame you unless you're still have hopes that you're in a keeper league and you want to keep him for next year if you hope he's ever going to play again. But the way the NFL's going, if Ray Rice is suspended for indefinitely for now, so should Peterson. So I think he's a safe drop. Just to let you know,
I'm glad you mentioned this because that's a topic that I thought I wanted to talk about and then I forgot about it until you mentioned it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I have Adrian Peterson on one team. It's a non-keeper league. I looked at December 1st is his court date.
Right.
Okay. In a fantasy league that runs 13 regular season weeks, December 1st is week 13. Which means unless he is immediately exonerated and the league does not suspend him,
which they've already said they're probably going.
He's going to miss the whole year.
Which they said they've already said they're probably going to
For
with or without
fantasy
a
purposes.
with or without a
With
conviction.
or without a conviction,
he's
they
probably
will
going to be
because they have
suspended.
to.
Yeah, they've
and
got to
then
save face.
he got caught with pot in the meantime, so that doesn't help his case
And owned up
either.
to it. He's like, "Hey, so I'm going in for this drug test. I'm just letting you know right now. I just smoked a little weed last night." It's like, what?
The thing is, though, like honestly, I can't. The kind of crap he's going through right now, man needs to relax.
But still, you know, if you're going to court,
I know.
you're going to get tested. I
Yeah.
mean, like,
So what we're getting at is
Safe-
if you have
safe
him
to
in
drop,
a non-keeper
unfortunately.
league, drop him.
yeah.
He's taking up too much roster space as it is. The other trash talking Justin, by the way, got in
Oh, I
touch
know.
with me.
I know.
in our
I,
keeper
I,
league.
I just got my hair cut by him the other day. He told me what he proposed to.
Because he wants to trade in a keeper league. He wants to give me Arian Foster. Or he wants to trade Adrian Peterson to me for Arian Foster.
It is a keeper league, so
It is a
yeah, that
keeper
is
league.
that is a tough decision.
No, it isn't.
No.
Because Arian Foster's keepable.
Keep telling yourself that.
I'm not gonna give up on this year just so I can have Adrian Peterson.
I
Next
tell you
year.
what, considering that he's not Adrian Peterson's not suspended right now, he's just been deactivated by the Vikings. When his suspension comes in, at the least it'll be a 1-year suspension for the child abuse and for the drug violations.
Yeah.
He'll be out for a year, so there's no point in keeping him for next year.
You think?
I think so.
You might be right.
If
I
he
don't
gets
know.
but
The
if he
fact
gets
of the matter is we
convicted-
don't know.
If he gets convicted, he'll do his community service.
He's gonna
There is
plead
some pretty
down.
damning evidence against him.
He'll plead down. He's a first-time offender. They'll give him probation or community
That's
service
my
or
point.
something. He won't do jail time.
But the NFL could still lay the hammer on him.
And that's my point.
But I don't think
Ray
they're gonna
Rice
do
was a
that
first.
either.
Ray Rice is a first-time offender for hitting a grown woman, and he got suspended indefinitely. Adrian Peterson
No, he got suspended for 2 games. Then when they found out
Yeah.
about the tape, he got suspended for
That's true.
doesn't
indefinitely.
matter. In the end, he is indefinitely suspended. Now,
I think,
granted, he'll play
I
next
think the
year.
NFL's dying to get Peterson back on the field.
Yeah, number one, Peterson is one of their top 5 players when healthy and on the field.
I get it.
Number 2, little kids can't go out and buy jerseys and buy game tickets, whereas women can. I'm sorry, had to throw that out there.
Yeah, but a
so they're
woman can
going
al-
to.
Yeah, but nothing looks worse than a kid.
But the thing is, a kid can't defend himself against a 245-pound rip
I'm
running
not.
back.
I'm just saying when it all boils down to money, which is what the NFL is predicated on.
Right, I
They're
get
they're
that.
going to throw the absolute book at someone who's a woman beater. And like I said, the like Mark was saying, the courts will play out. It'll take a while for whatever to happens with him, and by that point, no one's gonna forget what he did. But he'll be back on the field.
And even still, he doesn't start next year in the beginning.
Maybe not in the beginning. Yeah.
He at the very least,
Yeah,
he's gonna miss
yeah.
it. He's gonna miss at least 4 games. At least
So,
4
yeah.
games.
in any event, if
Yeah.
you're stuck in the position I'm in, where somebody's trying to pitch you Adrian Peterson in a keeper league, be careful. I came back to trash talking Justin. I told him I'll give you any other running back on my team for him right now.
Just
which
not
consists
not
of-
Foster.
Which consists of Joik Bell or Kyrie Robinson or whatever other guy that I have that's borderline startable. But I can't part with Arian Foster. The guy's on fire, and I'm awful in that league, but I'm not completely out of it, so I can't give up on it yet.
Joik Bell, by the way, wore custom-made SpongeBob SquarePants pants with penny loafers and then a blue striped shirt with a bow tie when he got off the bus this week.
That's pretty amazing.
Or maybe it was last week, but I saw the photo, and he was looking sharp. So shout-outs to Joik Bell on his fashion.
Which is why I prefer the Major League Baseball because they have a dress code.
Fair. Next up, Miami Dolphins at Chicago Bears.
I'm
Ew.
going to start real quick by bringing up my lay it on the line from last week. Martellus Bennett and Devin Hester both sucked last week.
Yeah.
What was mine? I don't even remember.
His was saying Devin Hester was
Mine
gonna
was
have a good
Hester, and Hester did not do anything.
What was mine?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
game. Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh yeah.
It was Teddy
I'm pretty sure it was Teddy Bridgewater over Romo.
No, it was over Stafford.
Or over Stafford.
Stafford,
That's what it was.
yeah.
Either way, you still.
Stafford still had a pretty doo-doo
Wah,
game,
wah.
but Bridgewater had the worst.
It was
game.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
We are all great
at
prognosticators.
Hey, no,
at some
thank
point,
you.
I'm cashing in. Yeah, you did win one.
Combined, they had 14 points.
Yeah.
Who was the other guy?
Hester and
Bennett
Martellus
and,
Bennett.
and Hester. They
Oh,
both
Bennett
had
did
bad
have a
games.
decent game. Okay. All right. Well, all right. You win.
So you've got probably the only laid on the line win so far this year. I don't think any of
I had
us.
Cordero Patterson.
He did.
week
I was
one.
going
Okay.
to bring it up
Yeah.
like week 1 or week 2.
So you
he
each
had
have
Cordero.
one win. I have none. So I gotta figure something out on
No,
that.
and I had one Foles, or no, not Foles, Cousins against the Eagles. That was my only other good one. I said that Foles or Cousins going to have a good game, and he had a monster game.
Okay.
But we never talked about it because they
Yeah.
still lost.
So the Dolphins are going to be without No Sean Moreno for the rest of the year because he blew a knee out.
Yeah.
Which means Lamar Miller becomes really the only running back in Miami. He hasn't really ever done anything with it when he's been the starter, but
No.
It's a pretty strong start against the Bears.
Yeah, you're starting him if you picked him up on the wire or just had him on your bench.
Yeah.
Other than that, Dolphin-wise, Mike Wallace still continues to score touchdowns week in and week
Mike
out.
Wallace has been a way more consistent performer than I thought he was going to be. However, he's going to draw Kyle Fuller from the Bears.
Pretty aggressive, yeah.
Nice draft pick, by the way, considering he was, the fourth corner off the board, and all the other ones have done nothing. Kyle Fuller's legit.
Mm-hmm.
He's shut down some pretty good receivers. So I still like Wallace as a starter, but I don't know that he's going to go bonkers, although Miami's going to have to score to keep up with Chicago. Chicago can put some points on the board.
Yeah.
As far as the Bears go, Miami's got a good defense, but I can't say not to start anybody.
No.
I wouldn't be scared of any of these guys. Brandon Marshall's healthy.
Jeffrey
Jeffrey's had good games recently. Bennett has done his yearly
Swoon.
iffiness
Yeah.
in the second half of the season, but it hasn't quite gotten there yet, so you still start him. And Forte's looking good.
Forte is... He was one of the first of the top 5 running backs, like consensus running backs, that woke up from his slumber.
Yeah.
So he's had 2 or 3 weeks now where he's been very good. He had that one 11 catch week.
Yeah,
so in
yeah.
PPR it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, start him.
All right, well, that's an easy one.
I even
Yep.
start Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got Cutler, you're starting him pretty much every week unless he comes up against some weird matchup. Saints at Lions. Megatron is out.
And Jimmy Graham apparently
Jimmy
is
Graham
in.
is going to play. Golden Tate's a great pick, apparently.
Yeah.
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 Because Reggie Bush
We're gonna keep
Yeah.
going back to you screwing up the draft.
I know, man. I know.
Golden Tate will live,
Oh, that's right.
Golden Tate will
No.
live on in infamy.
First off, I didn't screw it up. You screwed it up by your tablet dropping connection.
No, but then you drafted him next immediately.
Right. I was,
And then said I'll fix it later, which made it so much worse.
It
I could have
was.
just taken him on my next pick.
Someone would have auto drafted him though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Does anybody know if Reggie Bush is playing? 'Cause
I will
can't
check.
find
I'm
inactives
checking.
anywhere.
So yeah, keep talking about this game while I check.
If Reggie Bush is out,
Mm-hmm.
Joik Bell is a really good play this week. Even though
He's active.
he's active.
Yep. He's a solid flex play apparently in PPR.
That makes things so much more complicated.
Yep.
I like Joik Bell. He had a good game last week. He had 100 total yards and a touchdown. He probably would have had 2 had Theo Riddick not had the other one. I don't know. How do you feel like about Joik Bell with Reggie Bush being healthy?
Yeah,
I mean, New Orleans defense stinks,
they
but
stink, but I don't know. I've got a situation where it's
PPR leagues, I take Reggie Bush.
well, I've got a situation.
I take Bush over Bell in any league. It's just a matter of whether you feel like Bell's even playable at this point. I think if you're desperate, you can play him against New Orleans because it's a good matchup. But
But in PPR again, I don't think he's going to be worth it. I think there are better options out there.
Yeah.
Non-PPR, maybe.
So Gio Bernard, Brandon Oliver, Reggie Bush. I already benched Shane Vereen, but I need to start 2 of the 3.
All right, say again.
Bush, Bennett, or I'm sorry, Bush, Oliver, or Bernard. Brandon Oliver plays Kansas City. Bernard plays the Colts. I'm starting Bernard anyway.
you got to start
I would-
Bernard.
Say Gio.
So it's between Oliver and Bush.
I'd start Oliver.
Yeah.
I hate to say it because Kansas City's got a good defense, but
Yeah.
they are rolling with Oliver, man. They're giving him a lot of looks. San Diego's got a good offense, so I like Oliver.
Yeah.
I mean, you could really make the argument either way, but I
Yo,
like
by the way,
Oliver.
F you, Shane Vereen.
Yep.
He's so mad about Shane Vereen.
I had him in like 4 leagues, started him in 2 of
Yeah.
the 4, which is
Shane-
fine. I'll take those points.
No, I guess that's a good thing to mention. Are we done with Detroit and New Orleans? As far as New Orleans goes,
You know you start your guys, but by
I can't
guys,
start any of the running backs.
well, yeah, now it's
Ingram's healthy.
Ingram's healthy.
I wouldn't start Ingram or Pierre Thomas, and I certainly wouldn't start Kyrie Robinson.
Kyrie Robinson's definitely out
Kyrie
man now at
Robinson's
this
now
point.
irrelevant. You
start-
start Jimmy Graham.
But I'm so like Colston hasn't done really anything.
It is surprisingly lukewarm as far as New Orleans
Yeah.
offensive players goes, because like you said, Detroit's got a great defense. And
So
they're
it's
at
like
home.
Breeze and Jimmy Graham, and then everyone else, it's a question mark.
Honestly, you don't even have to start Breeze. You really don't.
Yeah. If you drafted him,
If you
he's your guy.
If you got a backup who's hot, like if you ended up with, boy, who would I rather play than Drew Brees that could possibly have been a backup for you?
I play Cousins over
Cutler?
Breeze.
Cutler.
You could have gotten Cutler.
Kaepernick.
You'd start Kaepernick. We're jumping ahead a little
I'd
bit.
probably start Kaepernick over Breeze this week because I think the Lions defense is really good.
Yeah, it is.
To be honest, I don't think that's an easy choice by any stretch, and I think Breeze is still definitely a starting quarterback. But if you look at his numbers, he hasn't been Drew Brees this year, And the difference between teams that are good in fantasy and ones that miss the playoffs are you got to know when to hop off the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Now, Breeze is somebody you're going to stay on the bandwagon a lot longer for. But in a situation like this, if you're stuck between Breeze and somebody else that's got a great matchup and is a good quarterback, then you might want to think about it.
Do I start in a PPR league Cooks over Keenan Allen? I know we haven't gotten to the Kansas City. Keenan Allen's a turd so far. Yeah, that's. I
think you do. I think you start Cooks, and this is why. Because I think that first of all, Allen hasn't shown you anything, and I love Keenan Allen, and I will vouch for him longer than probably anybody else. But you can't rely on Keenan Allen against a good defense when you've got Brandon Cooks out there who might just end up being the recipient of all the dump offs when Ndamukong Suh is in Drew Brees' face.
And that's the league where I'm desperate for a win. I need the home run hitter, like the potential big game. And Keenan Allen's not going to give me a big game.
No, you're not going to get that from Allen. So I would go with Cooks on that. It sounds weird.
All right, we got 10 minutes. So
we got a motor here.
I'm going to throw a light on the line in here real quick.
There it is.
Cousins has a better game than Drew Brees.
Okay.
Quite a bit better.
So statistically, standard format.
More yards, better completion ratio.
Okay.
Probably more TDs as well.
I like that. Then you know what? Then I guess I'll go with mine then. Cooks over Allen.
Cooks over Allen.
In the light on the line.
In standard leagues, PPR, both?
PPR.
In PPR. All right.
Because that's the only league that matters.
Say real fantasy leagues.
All right, we covered that. Last 1 o'clock game is
we got two
Carolina
of them,
Green Bay.
We got 2 1 o'clock.
Actually, we got a couple more. Oh, you were at last 1 o'clock game.
Last 1 o'clock game.
Yep.
Carolina at Green Bay. This just in. Cam Newton's Cam Newton again.
He's back, Super Cam.
Super Cam, running all over the place, opening his shirt up, doing all sorts of craziness.
Calvin Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin's going to play.
Greg Olsen, always good.
Start him too.
And then otherwise,
Jonathan Stewart's healthy. I don't care. As far as the Packers go, the Panthers are just like the team they tied last week. I don't know what's up with their defense. Don't be afraid of starting any of the Packers.
Nope.
I can't tell you what's wrong with Carolina's defense. I'm not that smart.
Jordy Nelson has just been on fire this season.
Jordy Nelson's an absolute monster.
If you picked up Jordy in that kind of tier 1B, of receivers, then you did get an awesome value.
That's one of the reasons that Maurice is 6-0.
Yeah, he does have Jordy Nelson, and Andrew Luck. Yeah, he's got 2 of the hottest players in fantasy.
I'll throw my lay on the line out there. Cam Newton's gonna have a better game than Drew Brees.
Okay.
But yet you still say start Drew Brees.
No. I would start Newton over him.
He said,
But he's Brees is a starting quarterback. I severely doubt you have Brees and Newton on the same team. That would be
the time that you panic and start someone questionable over Brees is the time Brees goes for 400 yards. I mean, that's what's going to happen to you. Again, law of averages. Yeah. Drew Brees didn't just fall off the face of the planet. They're just having a rough stretch.
Torrey Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
4 o'clock games. Kansas City at San Diego. We started talking about this game a little bit.
We've touched on a couple.
We've had.
It should be a fun game to watch.
It's gonna be fun. Brandon Oliver.
It's a divisional game. They always have good games.
You're gonna start Rivers. I can't start Allen unless you're absolutely desperate. And at some point, you're gonna miss out on a big game from Keenan Allen if you bench him. But you don't have much.
So far, though, Malcolm Floyd has been a better start.
Malcolm Floyd's been very good.
He's of the 3 guys. You've got Eddie Rowe's been the boom or bust guy, but more boom than bust. But Malcolm Floyd is the recipient of a lot of.
Floyd's been the most consistent guy, which really doesn't fit his MO, but that's what he is at this point.
And then, like I said, Brandon Oliver, I know it's a tough defense, but I still like him. The guy seems to be a freak so far. So
Jamal Charles, big game this week?
I hope so.
Here's hoping.
Everyone here
Everybody
has
needs some Jamal Charles in their life.
Yeah.
As far as the other Kansas City players, Travis Kelce.
What would Jamal Charles do?
Yeah, WWJCD. Let's make the bracelets this week, guys. Travis Kelce.
I like him. Too bad I got him in a bunch of leagues where I already have better tight ends. Like, I have him in a bunch of leagues with Julius Thomas, and I'm like,
yeah, that's tough.
I can't. I'm just trying to trade him at this point.
Travis Kelce's a really good tight end. He's very athletic. He's playing in more and more snaps every week.
Alex Smith loves a big target.
Alex Smith loves the big target, and that's really I like him as probably a starting tight end for everybody, unless you've got him behind like a Julius Thomas or a Gronk or somebody.
Gronk didn't actually have. Well, if you have Gronk, you already played him.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah, he did have a kind of a game.
He just didn't find the end zone.
Right.
I mean, catches and yards. Right. He put up 11 points in PPR.
He can't be great in every game, but he's getting the looks.
Well, the Jets played a lot better than we expected them to.
Yeah,
So
true. Arizona at Oakland. Carson Palmer's back. Arizona's offense is actually functional, so that's good. Carson Palmer's arm strength is not where it needs to be, according to Carson Palmer. So I'll take his word for it. It's his arm.
Hey, good man.
Which means that helps Fitzgerald a lot.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem in the beginning of the season, is that Michael Floyd was just catching bombs all game
Yeah, people
long,
can't cover Michael Floyd.
because nobody can cover Michael Floyd, apparently. I like Fitzgerald as a flex. Floyd's still startable, although he's got a nagging injury, and we won't know. I think he's going to play, but there was some question.
you play
Oakland.
Ellington.
You play Ellington.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah, you play Ellington. Oakland's a weird case.
I can't see them playing like they did last week. For some reason, they were just ultra motivated and came out slanging. Derek Carr, we saw it coming out of the preseason and in week 1. He's got talent. It's just that team can't be consistent. They're not built to be consistent.
No.
So,
Well, here's the thing with Derek
Yeah.
Carr. If they have any competency whatsoever, it will be through the air.
Yeah.
Because they can't run the ball worth a darn. So I don't think he's going to do it this week, but I think Carr's a decent player to stash. If you're in a 2-quarterback league, if you need some insurance for a quarterback that's hurt all the time, I think he'll put up some numbers. But even though Arizona's on the road, it's still West Coast time zone. I don't think it's going to affect them that much. I don't think the Raiders do much of anything.
yeah.
The one big Raiders question that I've heard throughout the week is Andre Holmes their best receiver, or do you like James Jones? I don't think it matters much, to be honest. But I think
doesn't matter.
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne
I mean,
Johnson.
both have less than 30 catches already still
Right.
this year. So I mean, it's
You
But
give him
that's-
another couple weeks and it'll flesh itself out. If Carr stays healthy, he'll
Right.
find his favorite target.
But
And
that's
we'll
like
find
the
out.
deep dive question of
Right.
the week, basically. Really good 4:00 game for fantasy purposes. Giants at Dallas.
We're hoping for some fireworks.
Let's not ever mention that Giants game again
Yeah, nope.
last week, because
Nope.
that blew up so many fantasy
He-
matchups. you
Here's the
can't
thing.
even
Andre
imagine.
Williams is still going to be a hot button. Is this guy going to put up points? Last week he just kept running into linemen's asses because they couldn't make a hole for him. I still
here's
think
a
he's
fun fact.
Yeah, I still think he's good.
Here's a fun fact. Andre Williams caught this many passes in college.
He had the old donut.
He went 4 years and caught no passes.
Yeah.
I don't know whose fault that is, but apparently Andre Williams doesn't catch the ball that well in the backfield.
I'm going to give him one more week and then
This is the guy
Yeah.
that if you went to the waiver wire and you had one guy to pick and you picked him over Brandon Oliver,
Yeah,
which we did,
yep.
you're not feeling so great right now.
but
But I'm with you. Give
Yeah.
him one more week. Dallas's defense is better than we think, but they're not great.
he should find some room to
If
run.
he's going to do it, it'll be this week. If he doesn't do it this week, you can't really start him.
With Victor Cruz just exploding his knee.
Oh, God.
that was
bad for
ugly.
Victor.
Yeah, Randall, I like Randall.
Ruben Randall's a
Randall's
good
been
pickup.
playing really well. I don't know who any of the other guys that are going to be coming in. Unfortunately, I didn't do that research. Like some of their 4th and 5th receivers are now going to get some playing
Well,
time.
Odell
it just-
Beckham's going to get some run.
Yeah, Beckham's healthy. He's a freak, by the way,
I think it
too.
just honestly it probably gives Larry Donald more looks.
We would
Yeah.
hope because we all picked him up after the 3-touchdown game, and he's done zippy since then.
He's got one more.
Yeah, and he did catch one that he did catch one that they called
He
back
did-
again from a
He did have a
holding.
ridiculous catch from his back that
Yeah.
they called back on a holding penalty. It doesn't mean a whole lot to say they're going to come back from 0 points, but I think they're going to have a pretty good game this week. For some reason the Giants play really well in Dallas. If you
Mm-hmm.
look back historically,
It's a divisional game. They're always going to play it tough.
but they play horrible at home though. That's the thing. Like the Giants at home are not a good pick on the surface.
Are we going pretty safe bet that that DeMarco Murray breaks the NFL record and goes 7 straight with 100 yards?
Probably.
I wouldn't bet against it.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
I wouldn't
yeah.
bet
I don't know if
against
I'd put
it.
money on it. I would just
Yeah.
probably stay away from the bet. But
Yeah.
Des Bryant's a good start this week, more than usual even.
I think
So
Terrence
he's-
Williams back on the radar too this week.
Yeah.
I mean, we pulled him against Seattle and we were right. Well, he had like 70 yards, but he didn't have a touchdown. So
it was only on 3 catches.
yeah,
Yeah,
he had that one ridiculous highlight catch on the
He's
sideline
not
for
getting a
like
ton of looks,
Yeah.
but he is a decent flex play. I think they're going to have to score. Like I said, I know it sounds weird to say a team that just got shut out is going to score a bunch of points, but I think the Giants are going to score a lot of points in this game. Dallas is going to have to, too. Dallas would love to run the ball and grind it out, but they're not going to be able to if they have to score. So,
yeah.
I like all the Cowboys pretty much.
All right, we got 3 minutes.
All right, we have 3 minutes for 2 games. San Francisco at Denver.
Prime time game.
Primetime game for the Niners and the Broncos.
We talked about this earlier. It's not like Sanders is a definite bench, but for the one gentleman who had ridiculous receivers, we left him out of the equation. But Welker hasn't really stepped up yet and actually eaten that many targets away from Sanders. But San Francisco's defense has been playing really well.
Despite the fact that they have injuries everywhere, yes. Patrick
but
Willis is out for this game, by the way.
yeah, I mean that's you still Julius Thomas, Peyton Manning, Demaryius Thomas. But then after that, it's not. And there's no locks after that. Those are the guys.
I don't
start.
like Ronnie Hillman that much.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Ronnie Hillman made everybody look a little dumb last week by having 100 yards, but I don't see him as the type of running back that's going to have a big game against the Niners defense. As far as the Niners go, Kaepernick's a decent start. Bolden seems to be the better guy than Crabtree at this point.
If the game stays close, Bolden's the guy. That's the problem. If they start getting blown out, it seems like Bolden, they try to go to Crabtree, or they try to open up the field a little bit more. But if the game stays close, they trust Bolden because he's
a big guy and he's got great hands. He's going
he's
to make the catch when you need it.
If you're trying to decide between Frank Gore and somebody with more upside, I would bench Gore for the guy with more upside because they are limiting his touches for whatever reason. Carlos Hyde's getting more touches. I don't think Hyde is like the hotness that everybody thinks he is.
He's not startable yet.
Startable, but you could.
Whenever
he
takes the lead, though, I think he is startable.
No, if you've got an extra bench spot and you can keep Carlos Hyde on your bench, go ahead.
I'm not a professional analyst or anything, but he reminds me a little bit like Eddie Lacy, the way he runs. To be honest,
he's a
little bit of a bruiser.
Of a running back. All right, last on the list. 1 minute left. Houston at Pittsburgh. Houston. Start all your guys because Pittsburgh's awful.
Start J.J. Watt. He'll have a touchdown.
He'll probably throw one, catch one, pick one. I mean,
it's going to be a fun game to watch. First off, because I want to see them beat the Steelers. I think Houston's going to win that game.
I do too.
Right. So start Arian Foster.
This is the old test your fortitude game for Pittsburgh. They just got crushed by their rivals.
Who's supposed to be the worst team in the league? One of the worst teams in the league.
They just got run off the field by the Browns. So we'll see how this turns out with an extra day of prep.
It should be a fun game to watch. I really do think it's going to be nice. It's not going to be like a 10-7 Steelers type game because they don't do that anymore.
No,
they don't have the defense.
They're either going to throw their way into it or throw their way out of it, one way or the other. Antonio Brown's a big start. Le'Veon Bell's a big start. All the Houston guys are playable. Arian Foster's going to have a big game. DeAndre Hopkins should get back on the saddle here and have a good one.
We still haven't seen any of the tight ends for the Texans step up.
Nah.
Like, no one really stands out yet, and apparently Fitzpatrick doesn't really throw to the tight end as much as the receiver. So
way more fun for him to just throw it downfield and hope somebody catches it.
So I guess that does it. Oh, real quick, I had a friend who does the DraftKings style weekly.
Oh, yeah.
And
those are fun.
Fun story. He started Percy Harvin this week. So he actually can't. Well, he can pull him, but it was funny. I had to text him because he's not really that into football. He just likes gambling, and I was just like, "Yeah, funny story. You're gonna get 0 out of him because he didn't play yet and got traded.
No longer plays for the team
he got an inadvertent bye week, so that was a really weird scenario. So I'm sure that happened to some other people out there because in those formats, like we're talking, we're not gonna start Percy Harvin if we have to, but he's a cheap player that can get big results. So a lot of people probably picked him, and then they're like, great, so I can't play this guy because he has a bye week now.
I do have one quick question as far as one of my leagues. We need to play. Well, it's actually our league. It's play 3 receivers. And
I'm not helping you.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding.
But my options, obviously, I'm going to play Julio Jones, and T.Y. Hilton. But basically, do I play Golden Tate, Pierre Garçon, and Cecil Shorts?
Oh, Golden Tate.
Then who do I flex between Garçon, Morris, and Cecil Shorts? It's kind of the same question I asked earlier.
Garçon.
I still like Garçon, but that's because I have a tragic flaw where I can't trust Alfred Morris for some reason. Probably because I've always been in PPR leagues, and I think he's overvalued everywhere.
There just isn't that much of a ceiling with Alfred Morris.
Yeah.
If you need him as a running back, he's a great running back. And
but
he's
going
to put up numbers, and he's going to be consistent. But if you're going for a flex player and you want to try and hit a home run.
In PPR.
In PPR, Garçon's your guy.
Yeah, and you
non-PPR,
just pray.
Non-PPR, you probably start Morris.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that does it for us. Good luck this week.
Yeah. Good luck, everybody.
I know most people, this is the turning point in the season where either you think you're vying for a top spot or you're struggling to stay in the playoff contention. So, you know, good luck with that. Hopefully there's some stability because every week has been just stupid, weird so far this season.
We should get some more information from a lot of these teams this week now that a lot of teams' buys are over and we can get some more data. All right, well, that's it for this week. I'm Mark.
I'm Mike.
I'm Kirk.
Have a great week. Thanks.
Go Flacco!